If you want to watch every single Raiders game with the #1 community on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We're going to be live every single game, and we party Oakland style. Coming up today here on the Raiders Report, presented by PrizePicks, my 2026 record prediction for the Silver and Black. You got a brand new head coach in Klint Kubiak. You got John Spytek and a totally new-looking Raiders roster from the moment that they moved on from Pete Carroll, from the moment you went out and added a lot of talent in free agency. You absolutely crushed the NFL draft, and then the NFL schedule dropped for the Silver and Black. So what we're going to be doing here is I'm going to run through the schedule real quick, and then I'm going to go game by game, and I'm going to tell you whether the Raiders win, whether the Raiders lose, and at the very end of the show, I'm going to give you, obviously, my record prediction for this upcoming season. So we start off in Miami. Then you got Week 2 on the road. That's basically a home game against the Chargers. Week 3, home opener for the Saints. Week 4, up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Week 5, at New England. It went very well last season for the Raiders. Hope that happens again this year. Week 6 up against the Buffalo Bills. 7, the Rams. It's a gauntlet of a stretch there for this team. Then Week 8 up against the New York Jets. Week 9 against the San Francisco 49ers. At Week 10, you go up against the Super Bowl champs, Seattle Seahawks. Klint Kubiak's old team. Week 11, AFC West opponent, the Denver Broncos. Week 12, up against the Cleveland Browns, and then a late bye. But I kind of like the late bye. It lets you rest up, and it lets you get ready for this back half of the season here. Week 14, Week 15, up against the AFC West, and then you got last year's #1 overall pick. Will Mendoza be playing by this time. Week 17 up against the Arizona Cardinals. Then you round out your 2026 season on the road against the Kansas City Chiefs. So I want you to look into those crystal balls of yours, and I want you to tell me right now, predict the Raiders' record in 2026. Go down in the comments section, drop your record prediction, and if you watch until the very end of the show, obviously, if you show me yours, I'm going to show you mine. Let's go to Week 1 here, up against the Miami Dolphins. And I don't know, obviously, if it's going to be a Fernando Mendoza game. And really, the way that I did this schedule record prediction is based off of what I think the Raiders want to do. And early on, I think the Raiders want to start Kirk Cousins. Why? They brought him in for a reason. Tom Brady, Klint Kubiak, John Spytek have all said, in a perfect world, your young quarterback is learning and he is adapting, and I think that they're going to go with Cousins. You got your home opener. Both teams struggled last season. Both teams don't have a primetime game. But give me Kirk Cousins. Give me the Las Vegas Raiders to get a dub in Week 1 up against the Miami Dolphins. Let's go to Week 2 now against the Los Angeles Chargers. And last season when the Raiders played the Chargers in Week 2, it did not go very well. And since I have covered this team, they have not done a very good job playing in Los Angeles. I'm hoping that that changes this upcoming season, no doubt about it, because it's going to be a Raiders home game. I guarantee you, there's going to be more silver and black than Chargers fans. I still, to this day, I've never even shaken a hand of a Chargers fan. Though, I got to give this nod to the Chargers. They're going to get the dub here in this one. The Raiders fall to 1-1 on the season, and if you don't know, you're going to track the Raiders' predictions with me down below. Let's go to Week 3. Up against the New Orleans Saints. This is their home opener. It's going to be rocking. It's going to be loud. They're going to be a very, very rowdy fan base. You know that that's going to be the case. I will say this. I think that this is going to be a very emotional game for Jack Besh. I don't know if there's more and less is already out on Besh on Week 3 for this one, but I am hammering the more on it. He's going to have a game of his lifetime, and I can't wait to see how this one ends up going down. You know why I also say that? Because the Raiders are going to get a win. Go tell my guy Trizzy Trace. Go tell my guy Lopez. The Raiders are getting a dub over the New Orleans Saints in Week 3 to move to 2-1 on the season. Week 4. You got Kansas City. I would imagine by this time Patrick Mahomes is 100% healthy. Got that ACL, no doubt about it, but this game is in Las Vegas. The last year, well, technically this year still, the Raiders played the Chiefs in Week 18, and we ended up getting that win. Obviously, they were, I think, at that point tanking. We were kind of also at that point where we were looking forward to next season. I have the Chiefs winning this game. They're a really difficult team, especially early on in the season. So as it stands right now, 2-2 for my Raiders record prediction. You know where I want to be? I want to be the #1 team in the NFL. I want to be the #1 team out there. shout out to the #1 sports pick app, and that's PrizePicks. You can get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup over on PrizePicks. I'm recording this video on Friday, May 15th. I can't wait to watch some big-time basketball action tonight. The playoffs, we got a double dipper. I'm going to have a lineup in both of those games, but then also we're watching this for the Raiders. And I want people to know, like, you can go on PrizePicks right now. And if you don't know, I am going to put a link for you guys down in the comments, down in the description of today's show. Just make sure that you use code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. But I'm going to show you some offensive players that you can go season long right now on PrizePicks. Also, they have Maxx Crosby, 10.75 sacks. That sounds like a great more to me. But what I wanted to be able to show all of y'all, and to be clear, this is not a actual PrizePicks lineup. You got to pick another player from another team in order to do it. I just wanted to give you guys an idea of where some of these more and lesses are at. Fernando Mendoza, 8.5 regular season games started. More or less? You can let me know down below. And while you're down there, seriously, I play PrizePicks all the time. Me and the guys here at Chat Sports, we really enjoy it. If anybody wants to follow me, it's at MitchellRenz365. You pick more, you pick less. It's really, truly that easy. Go download the PrizePicks app today. Make sure that you use code HMA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code HMA. $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Let's go to week 5 up against the New England Patriots. And as it stands right now, we are 2-2 in my record prediction. Will Mike Vrabel be the head coach? I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know. The Raiders got a dub last season in New England on the road. The losers in the Super Bowl, I think that they're going to get a little bit of a revenge game here, and I have the Patriots winning this one 2-3. It pains me. I hate that I did it. I don't want to do it that way, but when I really tried to do this record prediction, I really tried to look at it, and I would say right now the Patriots, after the season that they had, I think they're going to add A.J. Brown. I'm going to say that makes them a better football team. Let's go to week 6, another really, really difficult matchup for Las Vegas, going up against Josh Allen, who I would say is probably the best quarterback in the NFL right now. I don't know if I'd pick him in a playoff game over some other guys, but I'd say he's probably the best QB in the NFL right now. This is going to be a really good testament for the Raiders. This is a team that, you know, they have added some good pieces. I like the addition of DJ Moore there, but they got a weaker defense than what people, I honestly think, understand. I mean, that Buffalo roster last season was not a good roster. They really, really leaned on Josh Allen. Unfortunately, they have Josh Allen, so I'm going to take the Bills to win this game, and that drops the Raiders down to 2-4 on the season. And I'll tell you this right now, if we get to 2-4 on the season, you already know what's going to happen. We want Mendoza. Let's go to week 7 up against the Los Angeles Rams in another home game here for the Raiders. Matthew Stafford, Sean McVay, and company coming to Las Vegas. It's never going to be an easy matchup. It's one of the best teams year in and year out in the National Football League. Stafford won an MVP last season. You got Puka Nacua. You got Devontae Adams. Tons and tons of talent. Trent McDuffie, they traded for him. You can get mad at me. I'm going to take the Rams to win this game, and I'm going to go 2-5 right now for the Raiders. If the Raiders are 2-5, I'm telling y'all this right now. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by PrizePicks because it's Fernando Mendoza time. In my Raiders record prediction, I'm going to say if the Raiders start 2-5, Tom Brady, John Spytek, Klint Kubiak, they're going to start looking at each other because they're going to go, do you hear, Raider Nation? Do you hear the entire world? They're telling you it's time to go with Fernando Mendoza, and that's exactly what I'm doing here in my record prediction. Week 8, up against the New York Jets. I get it. It's a road game. But because your bye is in week 13, if you're going to make this switch, I think it's kind of foolish to wait until that bye. The reason why I'm also doing it now, you're 2-5. The Jets is a easier matchup. It is, whether the Jets fans want to admit it or not, but also it's because the NFL trade deadline's coming up. So I think you got to be able to show certain players, certain guys, like, hey, this is what we're going to be doing. This is what we're rolling with. So to me, you kind of have to make that decision right now after 2-5, and you already know. Give me the revenge game for us up against Geno Smith. But again, to Mr. Smith. Thank you very much for Fernando Mendoza. Thank you very much for Klint Kubiak. And I'm going to blame you as much as I possibly can because, well, you did get us that number 1 overall pick. Raiders get the win at MetLife Stadium. Now to move to 3-5 on the season. Before we get to the back end of this Raiders record prediction, I love asking this question every year, and I was talking about it yesterday when I was on live on the Raiders Report. How many years have you been a Raiders fan? Throughout the years that I've done this show, it's been really cool to meet fans of all shapes, of all sizes, of all colors, and of all people that just truly love this organization. And I don't know if anybody heard me say this yesterday on the show, but did anybody ever play that game at like a wedding where you get all the couples out in the middle of the dance floor and you tell them like, oh, if you've been married for less than 24 hours, get off the dance floor. When I was a kid growing up, my grandparents, they were married for 60 plus years. They used to do this every year. And I'm kind of, that to me, when I ask this question, is how I look at it, is how I think about it. I love seeing Raider fans that have been fans for longer than I've been alive. So if that's you, please let me know down below. Even if you've been a fan for just 5 years. Whether you're a Raider fan, if you bleed silver and black, I want to know that how long you've been rocking with us here. Let's go to Week 9 up against the 49ers, the Battle of the Bay, and I'm pretty confident I'm going to be out in California. I'm going to be in the Bay for this game, and I might even be bringing our 49ers guy, Chase Sr., with me. Raiders against the 49ers. This is a game where I really wanted to be able to just say the Raiders are going to win. The Raiders are going to win this game. Unfortunately, that's just not going to be the case. The Niners actually have a Week 8 bye, and because the 49ers have a Week 8 bye, I'm just going to give them the extra nod. I do think this is going to be a physical football game between both teams, but sometimes, you got to be able to give the advantage to the team that's coming off that bye, that's able to get rested up, and for that reason, that's why I'm going with the 49ers, though the Raiders drop now to 3-6 on the season. You got Week 10 up against the Seattle Seahawks coming up here next, the defending Super Bowl champs. Klint Kubiak gets to go up against his old team. Our offensive coordinator, Andrew Janocko, up against his old team, Rick Dennison. We brought over tons and tons of people to our side of our organization because we're trying to flip that 3-14 and see what they got over there with 14-3. This is going to be, I actually think, a good football game. Seattle's a tough team, but I'm going to give them the nod here. I'm going to give them the win, dropping the Raiders to 3-7 down there on the season. And, this is kind of the point of the year where I would start to get nervous, right? Like, I've covered this team for so long. I want them to play competitive football games in November. I want competitive football games in December, and I would love to play some competitive games in January and February. Let's go to Week 11, up against the Denver Broncos. This game is also in Denver, and you got a tough AFC West matchup. You never know how these games are going to end up shaking out, but because this game is in the Mile High, because still, remind yourself, if Fernando Mendoza got that start, he's still learning, he's still acclimating, and I'm going to give the nod to Sean Payton and the Broncos, a team that has historically played much better in the back half of the season. Payton has struggled a little bit earlier on in his career, so this means the Raiders right now after Week 11 are sitting here at 3-8 on the season. I don't believe I've ever had a worse start to a Raiders record prediction in my entire life. So it's going to be interesting from here on out. Week 12, up against the Cleveland Browns. This game's on the road, and I don't know if it's going to be Shedeur Sanders. I don't know if it's going to be Deshaun Watson. Hell, it might be Dylan Gabriel. I kind of laugh and joke because if it's Gabriel, it's an automatic dub. But this, to me, is going to be a cold game in November in Cleveland, and I do believe that the Raiders are going to be able to play some FU football, and because of the depth that this team was able to create this offseason, and especially on that offensive line, the Raiders, to me, are going to be a better second-half football team because you're still learning Klint Kubiak. Then Fernando Mendoza is going to get it rolling. The second-half Raiders are going to be a completely different team than the first-half Raiders. For that reason, we're getting a dub up against Cleveland on the road to move the Raiders to 4-8 on this season. But this is going to be the point where we're going to look ourselves in the mirror, and we're going to realize that, okay, now this is our time to get it going. Week 13 is a bye, for those of you that do not know. And during the bye week, if anybody's looking to get some Raiders gear, go to chatsports.com/RR shop. Whether you want to get the shirt that I'm rocking right here or you want to get our 2026 draft class. Cool part, we got shirts, We got hoodies. We also got pint glasses if you're trying to get a cold one in there. This also works great for Coca-Cola. If you need some coffee, I literally had my coffee mug this morning. I was sipping a few, though I don't remember which one I ended up getting. Bottom line is, if you are a Raiders Report fan, if you hang out with us on game day, if you're a real one watching this show in May, June, and July, and you're fired up about our Madden season, because our Madden season begins today. I'm going live on the Raiders Report at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and I plan on doing a Madden game every single Thursday and Friday, essentially, for the entire off season. If you're that type of person, then I think you got to get yourself some Raiders Report gear. So again, we got that bye in Week 13. It's a late bye, but I think it allows you to get freshened up. And because the Raiders, again, to me, the style that they're going to play with the offensive line that they have, with this defense that they have helped really revamp with Quay Walker and Kobe Dean, you got to Kwity Paye. Will we get the healthy version of Malcolm Kuntz? Maxx Crosby is about to be a whole new level of motivated to me. This back end of the schedule is the most important part of the year for the Raiders. So you got Week 14 up against your rival, the Chargers, at home at Allegiant Stadium. We did not beat the Chargers in my record prediction back in Week 2, but the Raiders will get the dub this time around. You're well rested. Late season Justin Herbert doesn't scare me. So you're coming off you have a little bit of a bounce back here for the Raiders, though I believe this puts us at 5-8. If my math is mathing correctly. Yes, 5-8 now for the Las Vegas Raiders. And the other reason is their team is still probably going to be, again, injuries can always happen. But because their tape is going to be with Kirk Cousins, our new tape now is all around Fernando Mendoza. I think that we will be the more prepared team. They'll be able to prepare less for that reason. Close game, but the Raiders get a dub, move to 5-8 on the year. Let's go to Week 15 now. Up against the Denver Broncos, and another AFC West matchup. The Raiders, like I said before, did not get the win in Mile High, and for a lot of the reasons that I just outlined, why I think the Raiders could beat the Chargers the second time around, there ain't no way in hell I'm predicting us to get swept by the Chargers. There ain't no way in hell I'm predicting us to get swept by the Denver Broncos. So because of that, give me the Raiders to get a win. We're going to go to 6-8 on the season. Another very, very close game, but it's because our tape from the first time was with Kirk Cousins. It's not going to be, or actually, no, technically it's with Fernando Mendoza based on this record prediction. F it, Raiders are going to win. 6-8, that's where we stand right now. If anybody out there, if you plan on going to a Raiders game this season, I hope that you hit that like button. The amount of fans that have already told me, Mitch, I'm going to this game, I'm going to this game, I'm going to that game. Are you going to any of the games? Bonus points down below if y'all let me know which games you're going to, because I am going to try to make it out this year to at least one game, to at least one tailgate. We got to figure out how it works here at Chat Sports, but I want it to be a game that I want to see a lot of people at. And I know we always show up and show out, but let's face it, there's certain games that are probably circled on your calendar, just like there's certain games that are circled on mine. So hit that like button if you're going to any games, and please, bonus points, let me know down below which games you're going to. Let's go to Week 16. Up against the Tennessee Titans, Cam Ward, Fernando Mendoza. I know the Raiders don't have any primetime games, but if the Titans can get their shit together and if the Raiders can get their shit together, who knows? Maybe this ends up getting flexed into a primetime schedule, because you know the NFL is going to love the storyline of Cam Ward up against Fernando Mendoza. And I'm going to go with the Raiders to get a dub. The Raiders last season, one of the teams that they did beat was the Tennessee Titans back in Week 6. And I will give Tennessee a lot of credit. I do think that they are a much better football team this year than what they were last season, but so is the Silver and Black. Let's go to Week 17 on the road against the Arizona Cardinals. And friendly reminder, at this point, the Raiders' home games are done. You got 8 home games, you got 9 road games. On the road in the Big Toaster up against Arizona, another team that's going to be trying to find their identity. Will we have another Fernando Mendoza versus Carson Beck game? The Raiders do play the Cardinals in the preseason, which I will talk about at the end of the show. I'll also get you guys the preseason schedule. But I'm going to go with the Raiders to win this game. And what's crazy is when I did this record prediction, I was looking at it and I'm like, man, we were 3-8 and now we're 8-8. I mean, that is a hell of a run here by the Raiders to kind of get this thing going again. But I don't mean to say, I wouldn't be shocked if the Raiders won 10-plus games. I also wouldn't be shocked if we were somewhere around that 7 mark as well, which makes it really interesting for this team this upcoming season. But, I could absolutely see in the Raiders be a dangerous team in the back half of that schedule because of the offensive line, Ashton Genty, having a tight end like Brock Bowers. But then also, your team's got to learn Klint Kubiak. And then also you're going to have Fernando Mendoza. He's got to get better, and he's got to learn. I think back half Raiders could be a scary team, which that means Week 18 up against the Kansas City Chiefs at 8-8. I don't know if this is going to be a game that helps us get into the playoffs or not. We don't know what the date is. This is a TBD-er, but if this is a borderline playoff game, I think that there is obviously a chance that the Raiders and the Chiefs could get flexed to primetime. The only reason, and I hope that people don't get mad at me, I do have the Raiders losing this game, dropping to 8-9 on the season. I feel like every single year when I do this show, I always have the Raiders having a winning record. And, I'm going to almost try to reverse jinx it a little bit, but this probably is the final game of Travis Kelce. I don't think the Raiders, even if they win and go to 9-8, are going to be a team that gets into the playoffs. I could be wrong, but to me, the Chiefs are probably going to be a little bit more motivated, probably looking to get in that playoffs, or this is the final game of Travis Kelce, and I already know that the refs are going to be reffing like you've never seen before in this game. So because of that, I took the Chiefs here to beat the Raiders, but I hope that I am wrong, and I hope that the Raiders don't get swept by Kansas City. So my record prediction, if you're watching right now here on May 15th, I got the Raiders going 8-9 on this season, but I could absolutely see us win 10 games. I could see us winning 6 to 7 games. I can't wait to see how this season ends up shaking out. But if you're watching this show right now, please, please, please predict the Raiders' record in 2026. The first time I ran through this record prediction, I'm not going to lie, I had 11 wins. And I was like, all right, I just got to slow it down here a little bit. I saw a few extra little bits and notes come out. But technically, this is how this ended up breaking down. Kirk Cousins was 2-5 for the Raiders. We benched him. We put in Fernando Mendoza. Fernando Mendoza goes 5-4. The Raiders end up 8-9. I look at that and I go, yeah, I could absolutely positively see in something like this with the Raiders schedule the way that it is, because it is a difficult schedule early on. Before I hop on out of here, I did want to give you guys the Raiders 2026 preseason. You got the Arizona Cardinals week 1. Week 2's at Houston, and that's an extremely interesting game for me and Chugs. I know that a lot of y'all know Chugs covers our Texans team here at Chat Sports, but what's also very interesting is Chugs is related through marriage to the Kubiak family. The Kubiak family is in Houston. We're thinking about making a trip to Houston. That's all I'm saying. And then week 3 at home against the San Francisco 49ers. That final preseason game. I expect to see a lot of Mendoza, and I would be really disappointed in the Raiders if we didn't see tons and tons of Mendoza in that preseason. All right, y'all. The Raiders record prediction, 8-9 for 2026. I hope that they prove me wrong, because the number one game I want to see the Raiders playing in, I want to see the Raiders playing on Valentine's Day. And if you know, you know.